Hey Meadowvale staff, it is that time of year again. We are here back to school. So to those of you that are new to us, welcome to Meadowvale. We are glad to have you. And for those of us that have been around a while, welcome back. The outcomes of this presentation are really to provide you with an overview of the school year as well as workshop week, and also to provide both school and district updates. As we head on into a new school year, we continue with that mission of educating, inspiring, and empowering our diverse learners to shape their futures, to accomplish their dreams, and to contribute positively to our local and global communities. We are continuing with our strategic plan, continuing our work to cultivate an innovative environment where all members of our community support a culture that is committed to embracing exceptional opportunities for all learners to achieve our mission and learner outcomes. We're also working to ensure equitable opportunities and access to programs and facilities so that all learners achieve our mission, core values, and learner outcomes. And with that, we begin our work this 21-22 school year. Starting with a few of those building updates, we've got some new licensed staff, some new teachers. Excited to welcome Tanya Reeps to us. She will be teaching part-time here at Zimmerman Elementary and Westwood Elementary in the area of Fayette. Excited to welcome back Sam Eckberg to Meadowvale. He will be part-time here and shared with Rogers High School, and also sharing Andrew Parr with Rogers Middle School. Welcome to Andrew, also in the area of music. And finally, we are excited to welcome Lauren Mosier back to Meadowvale. She was a student here in 4th and 5th grade, and now she's a school social worker. She will be with us on Mondays throughout the school year. So welcome to those teaching staff members. We also have a number of new support staff members. We're excited to welcome Trista back to Meadowvale as our night lead custodian. Trista's been working hard throughout the summer with the custodial team, and so we're grateful to have her back. We are currently in the process of hiring a health services assistant, and likely by the time you watch this video, we will have someone in place and you will know who that is. We are welcoming back Roxanne Harstead to Meadowvale, this time in the position of our media assistant. And we are also looking to possibly have another Minnesota Reading Corps member in place. Sue Peterson continues to be here, and they are currently in the process of interviewing and possibly hiring us a second Minnesota Reading Corps member to help close those gaps. We are excited to have Allison Kaveen with us. Allison will be a part-time Minnesota Math Corps member. And we have a number of new special education assistants to our building. We're excited to have Juanita, Jessica, and Amber join us from other buildings across the district. Jessica returning to us from Twin Lakes. And we have 2 more assistants that we'll be hiring in the coming weeks. So you'll watch your emails for updated information about more new support staff. Just some reminders about the importance of keeping up with things like email. I need you to read that email completely and daily. There are going to be lots of emails that come from me as a way of communication and also from the district office. We know that many of these emails can be long, but it's important that you have this information and you read it carefully. It does avoid having miscommunication, not having information, and also not having to have so many meetings. Please make sure to review staff meeting notes. Especially if you're not able to be at those meetings. And also, as full-time staff members, you are asked to be on specific committees in our building, and we ask that you share those notes and pieces of information back with the team that you represent, and also gain feedback from them. It's important that we have all voices heard at Meadowvale, and this is one way that you can do that. I also ask that people review all staff resources. We will help you go through some of those as you do your work within Schoology today and throughout the coming weeks. There will be a Schoology course that you've been invited to join or be a part of or have access to, entitled the 21-22 Meadowvale Staff Schoology course. Within there, if you're a new staff member, you need to know that you'll be receiving weekly updates from me, and they come through Schoology. The best thing to do is set those notifications so that you receive them in your email. But typically on Thursday nights or Friday, you're going to receive a weekly update, and those are very long. But my intent is to make sure that we all are communicated with and everybody knows what's happening at Meadowvale. Within there also is a staff calendar and some monthly and year-long resources. So it's important that you get really familiar with that Schoology course. And we try to put everything that you need within that resource. Other reminders about building information: it is so important that we keep our outside doors and windows closed. We are not propping them. Those are for reasons of safety. Number one, we want to make sure our students and staff are safe, so we're not propping those things open, but also to help with our ventilation system. It works much better when those outside doors and windows are closed. Please make sure that you enter door 1 outside of school hours and sign in. There's a sign in and out sheet. That way, whoever's ever in the building does not end up having someone else set the alarm off on them. And if you're the last person out, you are setting the alarm. If you're someone that's new here and you don't know anything about setting an alarm and you have access to the building, you'll want to connect with me and or your teacher mentor in order that you can learn how to set that alarm. That's, for the most part, for teaching staff. One thing for this year, we will not be having visitors in our building for the first trimester. So we'll have no visitors at lunch, no visitors for other reasons. We will have and allow volunteers. They need to be individuals who've been invited by school, and I'm going to likely have a way to be able to track that with you. And they also have to have passed a background check, and that's information that Melissa Powell, our parent liaison, will support and help with to be able to come into school. We're going to be asked that they either mask if they're not vaccinated. We won't require that they show things, but we are going to ask that they mask if they are not vaccinated. Safety, just some of those things. There's going to be COVID-19 safety guidelines again. We will share information during workshop week. There will be about an hour's worth of a presentation and work to go through, not as much as we had last year, but there's still some safety guidelines that we need to follow. In that first week of school, we'll continue to make sure that we do some safety drills. We'll be doing our fire drill, of course, in the first week of school, so make sure that you've practiced with your students so they know how and where and when to exit. And also, you will be receiving an email shortly, if you haven't already, in regards to completing the e-learning review in ALICE. We will also have our first ALICE drill during our September staff meeting, and there'll be an opportunity for all staff to join us for that meeting. Some other things, just a reminder that we decided as a building that lunch and recess will look a little different than it has in the past. Reminder that our lunch for teachers is a 30-minute duty-free lunch. Teachers will be bringing students, having them wash their hands at whatever point makes most sense for those teachers. But you're going to bring their students to the cafeteria at the assigned time, and the assistant who's assigned will meet the students in the cafeteria. The students will have 20 minutes in the cafeteria to eat their lunch, just as they have in the past. The assistants will walk them back to the classroom and be in there providing supervision for those other 10 minutes. The assistants will bring the students back to the classroom at that point and then supervise until the teacher returns. Teachers were great last year, and we're going to continue with that practice of making sure that students knew what to do when they come back. Everything from working on reflex math to maybe reading silently to working on a certain project. Whatever it is that teachers deem is most important, assistants will then supervise. Something else we're going to try this year, starting in October and working through April, talked and met with the leadership team, our anchor team, about extended PLC time. This is something I feel strongly about. You as teachers are doing amazing work with PLC, professional learning communities, and you need more time. From 8:15 until 8:50 on Wednesdays is just not enough time to do the work that we need to do around the 4 corollary questions. So with that, starting in October, and there'll be more information to come, but want to get your heads wrapped around this. Classrooms will be paired. A kindergarten classroom will be paired with a 3rd grade, a 1st grade classroom with a 4th grade, a 2nd grade with a 5th grade. Once those classrooms are placed and paired, you'll have some opportunities, certainly before this, to practice and work together. But here's how it's really going to work. If I'm the kindergarten teacher, I'm paired with a 3rd grade teacher. On that Wednesday, students will meet in the host teacher's classroom, or if we have kindergarten and 3rd grade, We may decide at the beginning that we're always going to meet in third grade until kindergarten is ready to host, and those students can easily find the third grade classrooms. So teachers that are hosting will have, though other students will come to their classroom. They will, if I'm a third grade student and I'm going to a kindergarten classroom, I'm going to go put my items in my locker, and then I'm going to report to that kindergarten classroom. The host teacher, who now has all these third graders and all these kindergartners in the same classroom, will take attendance for both classrooms, which, yep, that probably means we're going to do some paper attendance, and we'll figure that out as we get closer. Then from that time frame when the students are there, they will work on weekly tasks from that arrival time until 9:40. We don't want this to be anything where teachers have to plan extra. Think of what are those things that our students need to practice anyway. For example, reading to each other. Third graders can definitely choose a book from the library at their level, maybe even something their buddy likes. They practice reading it fluently throughout the week so that next Wednesday they are ready to read aloud to their buddy. It might be practicing. It might be with those first graders maybe needing to work on their sight words, and so fourth graders are doing some drill and practice with them. So whatever it is that students need to work on, that could happen during that time. Those non-host grade levels, so if I am the teacher who is not hosting the students, I'm in my PLC meeting, and I get to be in that PLC meeting from 8:15 in the morning until 9:30. So that's a nice chunk of time to be able to complete those PLC tasks and to get done some of the work that we're going to want to do this year to really hone in on instruction. At 9:30, our PLC is done, and I've got 10 minutes to do any quick final organization, prep for my classroom, get to the bathroom, get a coffee refill if I need to, whatever it is, and make sure at 9:40 I'm there to pick up my students from that host classroom, and for some of us then get to specialists by 9:45. Twice a month then you will have this extended PLC time. Twice a month you will have a shorter PLC time and then be that host teacher. I'm really hoping that this will be something for us that we can continue on into the future. If we discover it's not working, we certainly won't continue to do it. If we decide there needs to be some tweaks, we will do that as well. When I share this with the Anchor team, we saw lots of benefits coming from this. We saw that there was additional time each month for teachers to plan for student instruction and to meet all the needs. We also saw this as a great time for students to build relationships with other students in other grade levels. We are hoping that those bonds are built, and now fifth graders are supporting second graders in other locations. Maybe they're helping them out on the bus. Maybe they're just knowing them within the school, so we become a stronger community. And again, time for students to grow and learn together. So we're excited about that. You're going to hear more information about it, but just wanted to give you that quick overview about the extended PLC time. If you have questions, you can certainly ask me or connect with your Anchor team member who represents you at this time. Building schedules. All of these schedules will come to you via Schoology. Please know you won't see your prep or specialist schedules until the end of next week. So about the 27th, I'm hoping to have those in and done. We are still meeting as a special ed team to try to get some more scheduling done on the 25th of August. There will be assistant schedules in there, lunch schedules, a recess sign up, because as you'll remember, classroom teachers will be supervising their own recess, reminding us that it's so important for kids to have recess every single day. So make sure that happens. There'll be information about before and after school supervision duty, very similar to what we did last year, but you'll want to check and see what are the expectations for where you need to be when. There will be PBIS expectation teaching schedules coming, and FAST testing schedules coming as well. I'll be getting to those hopefully in the next week or so, and then they will be in that folder in Schoology. One of the things that we've talked about this past year is looking at our building committees and looking at them a little bit differently than we have in the past. We have 3 grade levels that only have 3 sections, and so it's really important that we make sure that all of our team members are represented everywhere. We need you, we need your voice, we need your ideas, and we need your help in sharing information. Grade level teams We'll need to have one representative on the PBIS or Positive Behavior Intervention and Supports team, one team member on the Anchor team, one team member on the Events team. Our technology committee is going to look a little bit differently this year. What we're going to try is we are going to have our tech mentors, our media specialist, our technology assistant, our digital learning specialist, and myself serve on that committee. That group will meet monthly. And then our tech mentors, so Sam and Ashlyn, are each going to be on one of the committees, either the PBIS committee or the Anchor team, as Eyes of Technology. So not as a third grade rep, but Eyes of Technology. They are paid additional as tech mentors, so they're going to have a role as a tech mentor, but they'll also have a role on their team as a committee member as well. The other groups, the other grade levels that have 4 staff members on them, we have 3 committees, PBIS, Anchor team, and Events. Those other 3 grade levels, we do have needs to have some staff members on the student support team. That will be an important piece. We need some representation there from Gen Ed to help support in reading interventions and math interventions, and that in the past has been Gina Sperling and Sam Wayvoda, and they may choose to do that again, being that they're on grade levels that have 4, or they may choose to be on a different committee. We also know that our special education team has more than 3, so they're going to be on additional supports as well, technology being one of those. We certainly would love to have that the special education expertise on our technology committee. In the end, what's also going to look a little bit different this year, or I just want you to be aware, is kind of what is the expectation of each of these committees. Our PBIS committee is going to be about all things social emotional learning and behavioral. So our Onward Brooks study fits under this realm. Our work around PBIS, our system of behavior and supports, fits under this umbrella. Our work with the Catalyst approach fits underneath this umbrella. Our Anchor team is really going to lead all things academic. The things that we're doing this year around benchmark literacy is going to be under this umbrella. The things that we're going to do in math are going to be under this umbrella. So you can see that PLCs are actually going to kind of come under both. One's the social emotional learning behavioral, one's academic. Our events committee will be all things events. So it'll be events for students and events for staff, just as it has in the past. So this is the time, and I've talked with the Anchor team about this, but this is the time if people want to shift or move, this would be a good year to do that. And we're going to see and give opportunities for people to make some choices there and maybe some possible changes, being careful not to change everyone on teams. It's hard if everyone is new. What's really important is every full-time teaching staff member at Meadowvale needs to be a part of a committee. We are a team, and all voices should be heard. It's really essential that we have that voice and people hear back. So start thinking about what committee it makes most sense for you to be on, and know that each one of these committees is essential, and we need vital, excited team members who are going to put their all in on each of these committees so we can continue to grow in all areas at Meadowvale. Again, more information to come about that change, but wanted to give you that overview. We continue to need to do your part not only on committees, but things like those before and after school duty. Again, that schedule will be in Schoology for you, but it is so important that we are providing active supervision and that we're meeting and greeting students for relationship reasons and for safety reasons. Continue to clean up after yourself in the lounge. I think that worked well last year and we'll continue to do that. Meetings are already posted for this year on our Google staff calendar, knowing that they're all subject to change. We'll continue to have our student support team and our referral team meetings on Mondays. They alternate. PLC meetings every Wednesday. Staff meetings this year are going to be on Thursdays, and those are typically 2 or 3 times a month. And then our committee meetings will be on Fridays. Each committee meets at least once a month, more if needed. The other parts, just to remember, it's important, classroom teachers, that you take your students to and bring them back from specialists. This is part of our work with active supervision, making sure students are supervised and feel safe in our building. Please make sure to respect other people's prep and lunch by being on time, both for dropping off and picking up your students. Again, classroom teachers will be bringing their students to the cafeteria for lunch, and then they can meet them in the classroom. Make sure it's important that parents are informed about student progress and behaviors. Parents don't want to be surprised. I don't want to be surprised. If you're having concerns about a student, or if you have something great to say about a student, make sure you're doing that. We will have conferences in mid-October this year. Some of the focus that we've talked about in Anchor Team will really be on what you've learned about the student thus far, and an opportunity to gain more information about the student from the parent, so we can hopefully make some good adjustments in October that will be reflected on that report card that will come out in November. We'll include some information both about the FAST reading and math as well as the SABRS scores. It is so important that you respond to parent emails, phone calls, and notes, and we ask that you do that within 24 to 48 hours. If you know you're going to be gone for a longer period of time, if you're going to be out for a few days for whatever reason, please make sure to put something in your email that bounces back so people know that they won't be getting a response if you're going to be out for a few days. The other thing I need to make sure everyone is really clear about is we are getting more and more data requests from our citizens in our community. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that they're making requests for any records. It might be lesson plans, it might be curriculum materials, it might be emails or notes with specific topics. They're saying, hey, I'd like to see everything that is in this grade level or this classroom about equity. And so because our emails and other information are public record, the district has to go in and look for and find all information related to that data request. It's taking a lot of time, number one, and they do redact certain names, anything that's data privacy. But what I'm saying here is be really careful about what you're putting in your emails and call whenever you can. So already this year I had one in a situation where an email came across, and when I saw what the content was, I knew it wasn't necessarily something I wanted to come back if there was a data request, so I made sure to make it a phone call rather than an email. If you have questions about that, please reach out. I can talk about that a little bit more in an upcoming staff meeting. It is super important that you review the student handbook, and there's specific district policies that I do have in the Schoology course, but it is our responsibility, yours and mine, to make sure that we have read the student handbook and read the district policies. There will be changes that are coming out this year in the student handbook. It should be shortly on our website. It's not there yet. The new handbook will be coming. It will be on our website under Our School Student Handbook. And then just that reminder, the importance of active supervision, to be moving, to be scanning, and to be intervening, and also when there's a problem, and connecting with kids and making those personal connections. That will help build community, it'll help build climate, and it will help our students feel safe, and it will also help us address any behaviors that might be happening in our building. So we're going to continue with that building focus around PLC, supporting you with some increased time to support our building focus. MTSS, continuing to use PLCs to support the MTSS process, both for academic and social emotional behavioral needs. We'll be reviewing how that student support team process works to assist you, and we'll be working under the umbrella of PBIS and SEL. The Catalyst approach will be here and working with us throughout the school year. The Catalyst approach was formerly known as Envoy to us, and we'll have some of that training starting in September, and all of us will be asked to be working towards becoming fully implementing of the Catalyst approach. We'll start a book study on Onward. You received the materials. Don't expect that we'll finish this book study this school year, but we'll get a good start, and it's all about staff wellness, and I know I enjoyed that book study last year with the leadership team. Continued focus with our anchor team, or that academic side. We're really going to have a honed in focus on benchmark literacy, a reboot of that series. We're going to be making sure that we are implementing it with fidelity. So if you haven't been implementing all the parts and pieces that we should be, that doesn't mean you do every lesson, every page, but if we are not implementing with fidelity, if you haven't been doing small group instruction or you haven't been using the tools you should be, now's the time to know that that's going to be an expectation. So you will be getting some reboot. There'll be an expectation that you're using it. There'll be an expectation that you're teaching with small group. We have our book room materials, and we'll be getting some training on that. Backwards mapping of each unit. We started that work in the year of the beginning of our pandemic in 2020. We received some training. We'll review how to do some backwards mapping of each unit, and then asking each PLC to do some of that work, knowing that we'll be also introducing the writing component in November. Math in Focus and Calendar Math. Our review of our MCA data so far says, hey, we need to look at math. And we'll also be digging in a little bit deeper as we have more information, and we'll look at our FAST data to help us really create our focus. We know that there's already a Schoology course that Becky Herbert from the district office has created to support the use of our district curriculum. So we'll be honing in on math as well. Other district updates, just know our focus continues to be around the strategic plan, around social emotional learning, around equity, around curriculum, and around facilities. And also there'll continue to be updates around COVID-19 and how it's going to affect each of us as we do our work at Meadowvale this year. There are a number of district goals for the elementary building. You'll see them all listed here. All of our focuses run right off of those district goals, and they are the same, almost the same goals that were given last year. During workshop week, we have a number of staff development, professional development activities. You're going to have time to learn about all those things that are listed there, as well as time to prepare classrooms and have open house and lesson plans and some team time. So we're excited to have those opportunities for us during workshop week. Kind of on that to-do list as you're thinking about workshop week, a lot of our time in the beginning of the week is spent preparing for a face-to-face open house. You're really going to work to make sure you update your classroom schedule on the Google document once you kind of know what your what your schedule looks like and you get that information. You're going to spend time either in the next week or during workshop week completing some Schoology coursework. There's lots of different things in there. We'll do the ALICE scenarios at a staff meeting, but the ALICE beginning work, mandated reporting, emergency flip chart, classroom expectations, there's lots of things. And then preparing for Tuesday's lessons and beyond. So as we move into a new school year, my word of the year this year for us is focus. We need to really get back to that focus on the academic work, the focus in reading, the focus in math, and the focus on the Catalyst approach and how our classrooms are managed to be able to achieve as much time as we can for students in the area of academic achievement. I'm excited for this new school year. I'm excited to get back to some normalcy again, and I'm so excited to see all of you in the coming weeks.